Can we stay with conflict and dysfunction? Because I think that's something that comes up in conversations a lot. What conflict dysfunctions do you typically see when you're working with a team?
Yeah. Well, I can describe a little bit about how it should. Obviously, there are different types of conflict, relationship conflict, task conflict, etc. What we typically hear is that we're not great at doing conflict as a team. I actually see more, and if people will be familiar with Lencioni's work, I actually see more artificial harmony than destructive conflict. So people, to Neil's point, afraid to tell the truth or speak their truth. Actually, we start with exploring people's beliefs and experiences about conflict. A really simple exercise for people to try if they haven't already. We just get people to write down, for example, conflict is ... and to finish the sentence, and people to talk about that. And you'd be amazed at the variety of answers, from conflict is necessary and important. I actually think it's necessary and important, through to people saying conflict is terrifying and something I avoid. I mean, that is the starting place for having a conversation about conflict. It's almost like a meta conversation about conflict. What is conflict to you? What are your lived experiences of conflict? How have you experienced conflict in your life? Did you grow up in a household where there was high levels of conflict? What's your relationship like with conflict? Because that will, like all of our beliefs and experiences, shapes how we show up in a team. So our work will always start there, your beliefs and experiences of a topic, and then what that means for the conversation. I think the word conflict can be potentially provocative, or, well, it holds different meanings to people, right? Sometimes it's easier to say, can we have really challenging conversations about the really important topics? Everyone seems to agree that's important, but maybe the word conflict doesn't always resonate.
I think and this is where it's always nuanced within a different team. We all have different associations and different stories we run around the word conflict, and experiences which lead us to those stories that we typically hold. And so when you work with a team, when you uncover some of the reasons that sit behind conflict, I think this is where, one-to-one coaching for senior people really helps, because outside of the team environment, I might have some personal, could be trauma actually, that I need to process in order to show up in this team to be able to do it in the way that we're agreeing to do it. But also, I think when you explore conflict, we used a model called PIN, so positions, interest, and needs, on a really practical level. You introduce a thorny topic to a team and they're talking about it, and it has to be really interesting. You've got to train with the real stuff, if you like. And what you see typically is people going, well, we should consider this, we should consider that, etc. And actually what they need sometimes is a bit of a framework to go, where do we need to focus and what do we need to voice? So we all start with positions. So state a position based on this topic. Let's go around the room. They go, well, my position is this, my position is this. And unearths contradicting or a variety of different perspectives. Okay, now let's talk about interest. And what position are you operating on an interest level? And some people will say, I'm operating from a place of conflict avoidance. It's like, right, now we're getting to what we need to talk about. And the mere fact somebody is willing to share that is part of building soul. When you refuse to share that, you're not building soul. You're creating those fragile foundations that we've spoken about. Then you unearth the interest, and then you go to needs. What's my need in this decision we need to make, or this conflict? And you're able to narrow it down to an enterprise level, where as a team, we can collectively make a decision in the interest of what we need to achieve here. So, and I think this is where third parties really help, is shining a light on the patterns and challenge that's needed to get people there.
Yeah, and maybe it sounds obvious to people, but we've seen really good impact of in-room stuff, so facilitating top teams as we've just described, but then observing them in real time. So, using the sporting metaphor, they're sort of off the pitch when we are running a session. Seeing people on the pitch is different. And occasionally a client will say, oh, but if you're there, they might not behave like that. Honestly, they do. It's like reality TV, isn't it? You think, will people really behave like that when they do? And we might sit in the corner and play a bit of a bystander role and just observe the patterns in real time. That has definitely been, really effective to bring what you've talked about off the pitch onto the pitch. And you just get a moment halfway through to say, we noticed this pattern of behaviour. These are almost like the behavioural norms playing out. People respond really well to it. They go, God, yeah, I was caught. You get caught in the moment rather than being able to observe yourself having that conversation.
Yeah.